Coming up on Network Africa. 3 people dead and hundreds more injured in a gas blast in Nairobi, Kenya. 38 people killed and 52 wounded in communal clashes over land in South Sudan. Plus, Morocco arrests 30 people suspected of trafficking newborn babies. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Layo Olarinde. At least 3 people have been confirmed dead after a huge gas explosion rocked the Kenyan capital of Nairobi. Authorities say the fatalities include a child and nearly 300 others injured. Houses, businesses and cars were also damaged when a lorry carrying the gas exploded in Embakasi district on Thursday night, igniting a huge ball of fire. Embakasi Police Chief Wesley Kimeto fears that the death toll could rise. Meanwhile, the Red Cross in the country has transported 271 people to hospital and treated 27 others on site. Meanwhile, Kenyan police have arrested the guard who was watching the gas handling facility when the explosion happened. It's still unclear what charges he is likely to face. Local media also reports that authorities are searching for 2 mechanics who were spotted repairing a vehicle near the site of the blast. The mechanics allegedly triggered the fire after jump-starting a car they were repairing. We're now being joined by Kenyan journalists for more updates on this, Cyrus Ombati. Hello, Cyrus. Thank you for joining us. He's joining us from Nairobi. We know this is still a developing situation and, more updates and things are happening as the hours go by. What can you tell us about the situation at the site of the blast at this time?
Thank you for having me on the show. What I can tell you that I was there almost now this morning, and it was chaotic because the fire was huge. The ball, because after the blast, it went almost a radius of almost 500 meters around the area, and the destruction was much. Many vehicles were destroyed. Their homes where people are living. 300 people in hospital. That's a big number given the demand of kind of medical care they need in the hospitals. And we suspect the number may rise as time goes by because up to now the authorities have not cleared kind of the debris where the whole area was burned last night.
The police chief has expressed fears, about the death toll rising. Has this happened, and what more can you tell us about their investigation into, searching for the 2 mechanics that allegedly started this fire?
As I said, the people in hospital, they have different kind of percentage of burns. Some are 30, 20, 30, 50, up to 50, 60%. And you see, when you have such a kind of burn, 60%, the chance of you surviving are low. About investigations, we understand they are looking for the owner of that yard because they're saying that he was operating illegally. It had been banned last year, and the owner was taken to court. Then he came back again to kind of operate. There is a blame game going on among the players in the industry, the regulators, and the other players in the industry. So it's an issue of time when because he's known, the owner is known, and those who are in the industry are saying that he was operating illegally. So it's a matter of time for him to be arrested. They are looking for those who are running the factory, the yard. Then that's the operators, the mechanics who are filling the gas, and the ones who are running kind of motorbike in the area. They could be not the ones who started the fire because this thing emanated from a lorry which was carrying this gas, which was filling the yard. That's why they're interested in the owner of the yard.
And I imagine that the losses are running into so much by now and perhaps increasing. How is the government, intending to pitch in to help the injured ones and, other people affected by this unfortunate incident?
The number is huge because men are homeless, the ones who are affected. 300 people are many. Those are in India. Those are the ones burnt. Now, you have not talked about homes. The local authorities have said they are going to clear medical beds in hospital. The government has said they are going to pay rent or rather rent for 3 months for those whose houses were affected. That means now you have to look for somewhere to stay, and then now it tells the government it's where I stay for them to pay. It's a huge task. It's a complicated issue because people have lost their people are nursing wounds in hospital. They are nursing their loved ones. Those who have died is another issue again. Now it's a huge task that the government and other players have to come in and help.
And amid the high cost of living, in Nairobi, Kenya, it's a difficult period at this time for the people. For ordinary citizens, who are far off but are seeing what is happening to their fellow citizens in Nairobi, how are they reacting to this?
Well, there was since last night, people are crying on, especially social media. People are crying. Those people needed help because it all started as a small fire, but then because people are crying on social media saying there's a blast. When you say there's a blast, it means the impact was huge. The response was somehow, you can say, lackluster in a way because it was underrated initially until now. Then they realized the burns are huge. That's when the response came. It was almost an hour later. People at the band, the property had destroyed. So there's anger amongst men. You see, that's a low class area where the fire broke out, and the affected people are men and they're poor. So that's why you see anger, which is actually kind of being expressed all over here. The other in social media, on the people are being interviewed on the street or the side. The people are not happy in general.
All right then, Cyrus Ombati, Kenyan journalist in Nairobi, thank you so much for giving us those updates.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Moving on the program, more than 2,300 people have been killed, injured or kidnapped in Haiti from October to December last year. This is according to a new UN report released on Thursday, representing an almost 10% increase compared with the previous quarter. In addition to the loss of human life, the humanitarian toll of the clashes is said to be disastrous. Over 1,000 people were forced to abandon their homes and take refuge in nearby areas. The report also found that nearly 700 people were kidnapped from October to December, and that's an increase of nearly 20% compared with the previous quarter. According to the report, no social category has been spared, from street vendors and farmers to high-level professionals, including doctors and civil servants. Well, the report is recommending that the international community accelerate the deployment of a foreign armed force, and Kenya is heading such force backed by the UN. However, it is facing some internal challenges. Last week, a court barred the deployment of police officers to Haiti, saying it was unconstitutional. Well, reactions are still trailing Burkina Faso's withdrawal from West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS. The Prime Minister of the country, Apollinaire Joachim, says his country's decision to leave the bloc is a move towards total sovereignty. In a statement he read out in the capital, he claims that ECOWAS had become a technocrat instrument and far removed from the legitimate aspirations of the people, adding that Burkina Faso had been facing indifference from its neighbors.
28 janvier dernier, le Burkina Faso, le Mali et le Niger.
On January 28, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger took the historic decision to withdraw from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. This decision responds to the expectations, concerns, and legitimate aspirations of our population to see their countries move irreversibly towards total sovereignty. For almost a decade, the three countries have been facing criminal gangs supported, financed, and equipped by their partners. All this with the indifference of certain neighboring countries and sub-regional organizations such as ECOWAS. Unfortunately, after 49 years of operation, we note with regret and bitterness that ECOWAS has deviated from its mission and radically departed from the ideals of its founding fathers. It has been transformed into a technocratic instrument that has ended up distancing itself from the legitimate aspirations of the people in our community space.
An Ethiopian opposition lawmaker has been arrested by government security forces in the country's capital, Addis Ababa. According to Deseleng Chani's relatives, no official reason has been given for detaining him. Mr. Deseleng won a federal parliamentary seat representing opposition party National Movement of the Amhara, NAMA, back in 2021. His status as a member of parliament is supposed to grant him immunity from prosecution unless Parliament convenes to revoke it. However, this has not happened. Well, he is the second opposition legislator to be arrested since fighting in the Amhara region began last year. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, has rated Liberia as an example for democracy for the whole of Africa. Following her recent visit to the region, she informed journalists in New York that the second post-Civil War democratic transition and a sitting president gracefully accepting defeat, Liberia is truly an example for not just West Africa, but the entire continent of Africa. Well, her comments follow a spate of coups in the West African region, which some have equated to a lack of faith in democracy in the region. President Joseph Boakai of Liberia was sworn in at the beginning of last week after he defeated football icon turned President George Weah by a slight margin. Ambassador Greenfield attended that ceremony on behalf of U.S. President Joe Biden. At least 38 people have died and 52 others suffered gunshot wounds when residents of a swampy area in central South Sudan battled with cattle herders who moved in looking for water and pasture during the dry season. Officials say the fighting started on Wednesday and tensions remain high, with minor clashes and apprehension over revenge attacks in the remote area. Information Minister of the Warrap State, William Wall Mayom, says fighting took place in the Alor area, which is in Lake State and borders both Warrap and Unity states. Mr. Mayom further adds that security forces have been sent to calm the situation and to move the cattle herders away from the disputed wetlands. Moroccan authorities have arrested 30 people this week in the city of Fez on multiple charges as part of a wide-ranging case involving blackmail, threats, and trafficking of newborn babies. Local media reports the suspects, including law enforcement agencies, doctors, nurses, and other health professionals, were arrested earlier this week. They are accused of working with unwed mothers to sell babies to families that are wishing to adopt. Their scheme also involves blackmail, fraud, and theft of medications that are not sold without a prescription. Some suspects are accused of helping facilitate abortions, which are illegal outside of emergencies in Morocco. We're in Guinea now, where hundreds of those affected in an oil terminal explosion in the country last December held an impromptu women-led demonstration which paralyzed activity in Kaloum, and that's the administrative and business center of Conakry. They are protesting what they call failed promises of the military government to help rebuild their houses. Demonstrators blocked the highways in the morning, preventing workers from getting to their offices. The December blast left at least 20 people dead and 240 others were injured. Buildings were damaged and windows blown out, forcing residents to flee their homes. Police have since fired tear gas to disperse the crowd. Welcome back to the program. British celebrity chef Sophie Brigson has visited Malawi to find out how small-scale farmers are coping with the worst farming season in a decade using climate-smart techniques. This is part of IFAD's Recipes for Change program. Ms. Brigson is learning from a resident, Mayeso, how to make a traditional meal of cowpea balls, a wholesome legume that can also be used as a meat replacement, followed by nimsa with chicken stew. In March 2023, Cyclone Freddy caused widespread damage and flooding, forcing approximately 500,000 people to be displaced from their homes and many more to lose their crops and livelihoods. The subsequent landslides and floods, followed by a long period of drought, have made the most recent farming season in Malawi the worst in a decade. Well, it's raining season currently in the country, but the bright green fields at this time of the year can give the wrong impression that everything is fine.
The backyard gardens are fantastic. At the moment, because of the rain, everything is looking very green and thriving. But there will come a point when the sun is turned on full time and there is no water around, barely any water, and the drip irrigation system makes such a big difference when you get to that stage of the year. There seems to be an outlook that the future can get better, and that if they put the effort in, then they have a bright future and their children have a bright future.
Southern African leaders are holding an extraordinary summit amid concerns about the cholera outbreak across multiple countries. At the summit, the heads of state, including from Zimbabwe and Zambia, will focus on the factors that's driving the outbreak. They're also expected to discuss how countries can collaborate to control the epidemic and also to stop it from spreading further. Thousands of people have been affected and hundreds have died in the region from the disease since late last year. Cholera is a waterborne disease and can kill within hours if left untreated. It largely affects communities with poor water and sanitation infrastructure. And this is said to be the worst cholera outbreak in southern Africa in years. UN agencies have recorded more than 200,000 infections, including over 3,000 deaths in 13 African countries since last year. A 15-year-old Kenyan student, Jim Kim Wenda, has gained attention for his invention of an infinity reactor that he believes could potentially provide a sustainable and infinite source of energy. The teenager says this could put an end to the frequent blackouts in Kenya through his invention.
How long did you? Must have taken some time, huh? Yes.
At the Moore High School, Kabarak in Nakuru County, 15-year-old Jim Kim Mwendwa is working diligently in the school laboratory on a model of his groundbreaking invention, an infinity reactor that he believes could potentially provide a sustainable and infinite source of energy for his country. The aspiring inventor provides insights into the workings of his creation.
This is a demonstration of what I've done. It's basically a motor and a dynamo. And according to what is supposed to happen is that the motor is supposed to actually have a higher input than the dynamo. So what I've done is that I've increased the output of the dynamo with little input of voltage inside the motor.
Deputy Principal of Moore High School, Kabarak, Richard Kimutai Rono, expresses astonishment at Jim Kim's ambitious project.
He is to come up with an infinity reactor. And according to him, this is a reactor that can be able to generate energy, that can power the world for infinity. In fact, we are really surprised by that. And his dream is to make this a reality. It is still at the pioneering stage, or where he's developing it, he's modeling it, and he's looking forward to making it a reality.
The teenager aims to address the prevalent issue of frequent blackouts in Kenya through his innovative approach to generating cheap and efficient electricity. Despite the need for a primary source of electricity to initiate the system, Jim Kim outlines a self-sustaining cycle once operational.
First, there is input of power from another source of power. When there's input of power, some of the rotation of the motor causes generation of electricity due to the circumferences changing the magnetic fields. And so there's a larger percentage of it being exerted out and a smaller percentage of it being used inside the infinite reactor to rotate the dynamo and also to cool the engine.
Must have taken some time, huh?
Jim Kim Mwendwa claims that his innovative solution has the potential to address power challenges in developing countries, offering a glimmer of hope for sustainable energy.
Welcome to our Africa Tech segment. Following the full implementation of the Zero Right-of-Way policy and the implementation of an internet exchange point, Anambra State here in Nigeria is now recognized as the leading state in ICT infrastructure development. Well, this recognition comes at the 11th session of the National Council on Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy.
There's a new way of doing things in Anambra State under the leadership of Professor Chukwuma Soludo, where the mantra is everything technology. The goal is being driven through the Anambra Information Communication Technology Agency, which began its work with the launch of the e-government initiative, where all aspects of governance is expected to be digitized.
I'd like to present to you your own working tool, ICT working tool, which, if you like, begins the distribution of these ICT laptops to the rest of the civil servants. Congratulations.
Those in the local government received theirs, with the commissioner affirming that his constituency has become digitized.
For us, data is key. You can't do anything without data. And this is for them to enable them to collect data and to now be digitalized. The local government is being digitalized by way of putting these things together and sending them even to revenue allocation in Abuja, where we get our allocation from. So they now send these things online. They are no longer analog as usual.
Several other trainings and partnerships with top organizations and personnel in the ICT ecosystem, as well as implementation of several ICT policies, follow suit. These efforts have paid off, as Anambra recently emerged Best State in Digital Technology Development, first runner-up in e-government implementation and Digital Human Capital Development at a meeting of the National Council on Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, hosted by Kano State and chaired by the Minister, Dr. Bosun Tijani.
Our goal is very simple. We want to make Anambra a model state in line with the governor's vision, and we believe that if we can do it successfully in Anambra State, hopefully other states can copy, and together we can make Nigeria great.
The state government says it is elated to have achieved this feat in less than 4 years in office, which it says reflects the unwavering commitment to technological advancement and transformative journey which the Soludo administration is championing in the state.
Well, Nigeria's federal government has kicked off the 2023-2024 first Lego League National Challenge in Robotics, Coding and Artificial Intelligence in Abuja, and it's aimed at fostering the next wave of innovators and programmers. Across the country, over 50 schools participated in the tournament.
It's that exciting time of the year when young minds ignite their passion for innovation, engineering, and architecture through the first Lego League National Challenge in Robotics, Coding, and Artificial Intelligence. At the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, the nation's capital, students from over 50 schools are present to participate in the tournament. And they are poised to showcase their innovative ideas and technical abilities. Representing the Minister of Education, the Director of Technology and Science Education Department, Dr. Muibat Olodo, says events like the first Lego League competition serve as a testament to their commitment to fostering innovation.
As we witness these ingenious solutions presented by the different teams today, it is a reminder that our education system is evolving, keeping pace with the dynamic needs of the 21st century. The integration of robotics education into our curriculum not only enriches our students' academic experience, but also equips them with the skills necessary to thrive in a world that is becoming increasingly digital.
By being a part of the first Lego League, participants gain real-world problem-solving experiences through a guided global robotics program.
The true essence of this competition is collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, fun, teamwork, inclusion, discovery, innovation, and the unwavering pursuit of solutions. This is not just a competition, but it is a celebration of the limitless potentials that resides within each and every one of you.
The theme for the 2023-2024 robotics season is Masterpiece, and it gives students a chance to imagine and innovate new ways to create and communicate art across the globe.
7, 6, 5.
They engage in the construction and programming of robots using Lego, tackling specific challenges and tasks on a designated playing field. The Lego Robotics competition is not just about building robots. It's a holistic experience that provides a platform for creativity and hands-on exploration in the realms of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Winners from the tournament will have an opportunity to represent Nigeria in the US, Australia, Norway, and Brazil. The top 3 teams will also benefit from a scholarship scheme for their tertiary education.
And that's it on the program for today and for the week. Thank you so much for always being a part of it. I'm Layo Olarinde. Have a lovely weekend.